He's done it. He's actually done it. The car slides through on the inside, a sliver of carbon fiber, raw courage wedged where no car should ever be. The crowd, a single roaring beast of 100,000, erupts in a noise that could shatter concrete. Engines scream in protest, a high-pitched metallic shriek of tortured physics. On the television screens, the world slows to a crawl, slow motion. Every millimeter of the move is dissected, every spark from the underbelly a golden firework against the grey tarmac. This is it. This is the moment. The overtake that doesn't just win a race, no, it's bigger than that. A move that rewrites the season and the rules for a generation. Audacious, magnificent stupidity that bordered on genius. It gets you either a trophy or a very, very large repair bill. The lead driver, cruising with smug certainty, finds his mirrors full of his rival's front wing. A flicker of disbelief across his visor. He was untouchable, he was dominant, and now undone. Not by a clever pit strategy or a mechanical failure, but by a single, breathtaking act of bravery. The day began with a deceptive tranquility. A perfect Sunday, July 17th, 2026. A brilliant, unforgiving sun that baked the asphalt. The cars, gleaming jewels of engineering, were meticulously arranged on the starting grid, each one a £10 million testament to the pursuit of speed. In the grandstands, a sea of colour and noise, banners waving, fans chanting the smell of sizzling sausages and high-octane anticipation. But on the grid, there was a strange, focused silence. Drivers sat motionless in their cockpits, expressions hidden behind dark visors. They were islands of calm in a hurricane of expectation, their minds already racing through the first corner, the first lap, the first critical decision. Qualifying the day before had been a war of inches. The two main title protagonists, locked in a season-long battle of egos and horsepower, had traded blows, each lap faster than the last. In the end, pole was decided by a margin almost immeasurable, 0.005 of a second. The tension was palpable. You could feel it radiating from the pit wall, where team principals stood like anxious generals, staring at monitors displaying endless streams of telemetry. Every conversation was clipped, every glance meaningful. Strategy was king. The 5 red lights extinguish, and then pandemonium. 20 engines scream as one, a deafening assault on the senses. A tidal wave of power is unleashed. Wheels spin frantically, searching for grip on the hot tarmac. The launch is everything. One driver gets a perfect getaway, his car rocketing forward as if fired from a cannon. Another bogs down, losing precious places before the first turn. It's a chaotic, terrifying ballet of speed and aggression. Cars jostle for position, drivers going 3 wide into a corner designed for 1. The air is filled with the smell of burning rubber and the sharp crackle of carbon fiber as a front wing makes fleeting, fatal contact with a rear tire. Through the first sequence of corners, the pack stays tightly bunched, a writhing serpent of speed. Up and down the order, mini-battles are erupting. A midfielder makes a daring lunge around the outside of a rival, holding on by the very skin of his teeth. Further back, 2 teammates, who are supposed to be working together, are fighting as if their careers depend on it, their wheels perilously close. The pit walls are a hive of activity. Strategists are already recalculating, their initial plans torn to shreds by the brutal reality of the opening lap. The radio traffic is a staccato burst of information and commands. Wing damage confirmed. Gap to the car behind is 1.2. Our 2 main protagonists emerge from the opening lap chaos in first and second, just as they started. The leader, having nailed his start, begins to pull a small gap. He's in his rhythm, hitting every apex with metronomic precision. But the challenger is right there, a shadow in his mirrors, refusing to let him escape. For several laps, they are tethered together. the gap between them fluctuating by mere tenths of a second. It is a high-speed game of cat and mouse, each driver probing for a weakness, testing the other's resolve. The engine notes rise and fall in perfect, ferocious harmony as they navigate the circuit. Then, the first strategic move. Box, 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 comes the call over the radio to the challenger. He dives into the pit lane, a blur of motion. The pit crew, a perfectly choreographed unit, descends on the car. In under 3 seconds, 4 tires are changed, and he's released back into the fray, emerging into clear air. The leader stays out, trying to use his track position to build a big enough lead to make his own stop and retain the lead. The race is now split into 2 different battles, one on the track and one on the timing screens. The tension is immense. Did the challenger stop too early? Has the leader stayed out too long? The race settles, but it's a fragile piece. The leader is pushing hard on his older tires, his lap times beginning to drop off. The challenger, on fresh rubber, lights up the timing screens with purple sectors, relentlessly carving chunks out of the leader's advantage. And then, drama. A car further down the field spins into a gravel trap. It's race over. Yellow flags wave, safety car deployed. The call comes. Suddenly, the leader's hard-earned gap is wiped out in an instant. The field bunches up behind the slow-moving safety car, a glittering, frustrated crocodile of horsepower. This changes everything. Pit lane erupts. Teams take cheap pit stops under neutralized conditions.
Radios crackle, frantic. Stay out. Box now for softs. A high-stakes roll of the dice.
Pitting means fresher, faster tires but losing track position. Staying out means leading the pack but being vulnerable, a wounded animal chased by wolves. Our leader stays out. The challenger on newer tires follows tucked right under his gearbox. Under the slow safety car procession, the tension ratchets up. Drivers weave aggressively, trying to keep tire and brake temps up. Eyes fixed on the car ahead, waiting for the safety car lights to go out. The crowd rises. Anticipation ripples through the stands. This restart is a second race start, a short, violent sprint.
He is right behind you. Defend for your life.
Safety car peels into the pits. He waits, and then floors it. The challenger anticipated it. Gets a phenomenal run. Pulls alongside the leader down the main straight. They are side by side, heading towards turn 1 at over 200 miles per hour. Neither man is willing to yield an inch. The crowd screams. Pure adrenaline as the defining battle begins. One pass, one chance. Pure genius. For 2 laps, they are locked in a titanic struggle. The leader, on his older tires, is a master of defensive driving. He places his car perfectly on the racing line, making it as wide as a bus, leaving no obvious way through. The challenger, with superior grip, is relentless. He feints to the outside, then dives to the inside, his car squirming under braking as he pushes it to the absolute ragged edge. They trade paint. They lock wheels. Sparks fly as their floors kiss the tarmac. It's breathtaking, heart-in-your-mouth stuff. A duel of such intensity and skill that it feels more like art than sport. Then comes the corner, a fast sweeping right-hander with a notoriously tricky braking zone, the kind of corner where heroes are made. The leader moves to cover the inside line, forcing the challenger long. It's the textbook defensive move. It's the sensible move, but the challenger isn't feeling sensible. He sees a gap. Not a gap, really. More like the theoretical possibility of a gap, a space that exists only in his imagination, and the laws of physics he is about to violently disregard. He doesn't go for the outside. He stays tucked in the leader's slipstream, closer than is sane or safe. He brakes later. Impossibly late. The car shudders, the brakes glowing a furious, incandescent red. He throws the car towards the apex, aiming for that sliver of tarmac between the leader's rear wheel and the inside curb. It's a move of pure, unadulterated commitment. For a split second, it looks like a catastrophic miscalculation. It looks like he's going to spear straight into the side of his rival. The leader, seeing the flash of color in his mirror, is forced to react, but it's too late. The Challenger is already there, his front wheels alongside the leader's cockpit. They are perfectly, terrifyingly, side by side through the apex of the corner. The crowd falls silent for a heartbeat, then roars louder than ever before. The Challenger gets a better exit. He gets on the power earlier. The leader, compromised, has to lift ever so slightly to avoid a collision. And that's it. That's the race. The Challenger surges ahead. The team radio explodes. Yes, yes, get in there, you absolute legend.